Okay, so I'm here today recording for my ROAR6. This is my reflection part. So I'll just start off by what went well. Um, the club has been doing, it was like a Boys and Girls Club week, like a national thing. So we did some things with like a carnival, and so when I got there, I helped set up and stuff. But personally, I wasn't too much involved with that besides setup. But what went well with the students is I was able to, it's, kind of a free time area, but I was able to take like two girls out and we were able just to do some homework. So that went really well because it was like some more one-on-one time instead of just working with a big group. Some challenges I did face with that scenario is um, that it was kind of like a really loud environment, so the girls were distracted a little bit. So I had like a little trouble trying to like keep them focused. And what I would do differently next time is try and find a different space, or maybe like, because how it was set up is we were in the corner of the games room, which is where a lot of commotion goes on, and they were sitting like with their backs against the wall, so they were facing the games room. And so if I couldn't find another room to help them with their homework on, I would switch places with them and put them so that their backs were like to all the people in the games room and that I was sitting facing the games room. So just like a small change like that really could have helped me get more like focus from those girls that were doing homework. So that's just like one thing that I felt went well. Some other things is like we started a new thing in the gym where it's called positive pins, and all the leaders get a pin, and if you see something positive happening, you can write it down on the board. And at the end of the week, we tally up like who all did positive things. So I thought that was really fun. I ended up getting to write down some positive things for a little girl who just like stuck at it with learning how to twirl the jump rope. So yeah, that was cool. So I'm going to go ahead and address some of these reflection questions. The first one says, what technology does the teacher use to assess students? Pencil and paper is a type of technology. So I guess this one is a little harder because it's, again, the Boys and Girls Club, so they don't really do tests and stuff. But some ways I think that Grace has seen if the students are actually learning from the games they're doing is, one example would be the pivot. So they've kind of been working with this program called Pivot, where it's like you make like dots and then you make lines, and you can like make the line like go like a little stick figure. So Grace has like they've been playing with around with that every once in a while, but then like recently a couple times she's been like, you have to make a 20-second pivot video and you need to upload it to your file. So when she really like has them upload a project, that's where she's like trying to see if they understand the programs and how to work them, because otherwise it's just like free time and they're playing around getting used to these different softwares and programs that they're playing with. So I'd say really when she asks them to like download something into their Boys and Girls Club file is really when the assessment happens in this room. Next it says, what assessment does your teacher use to assess students? Projects, presentations, quizzes, exams, and so on. Please be specific about formative and summative assessments your supervising teacher uses. So formative, which is like the kind of the halfway point, like seeing where students are, I think would be like she does it at the beginning when she's like, has anybody worked with this program? And that's just like a really simple thing where she's asking who has, so she knows like who's going to need a little more instruction than others, and that's just like by raising their hand. And then later on, I think that as like students are working on projects and we have people walking around helping, some formative assessments are, can I see what you've done so far? And have the students show you what they've done so far with their project. Or like she'll sometimes like have everybody turn off she'll turn off the lights, and then everyone's supposed to turn off their monitors at that time, and she'll just ask like, how much further do you guys have? Who needs help? So just kind of like seeing where everybody is at on this scale of like starting and finishing. So I know these aren't really normal ones like a real classroom, but this is what we have to work with. So the summative assessments at the very end, I've seen Grace like go through the project. So mostly this is a project-based classroom because since it's a Boys and Girls Club, there are no like tests and quizzes and exams like that. So it's all project based. In the summative assessments for those projects, she will like go into what she's done is there's like a fall 2013 and a spring 2013, and in each one are like all the students who have ever done projects. They usually just create one if they get there and they don't have one, but most of them do. And then they put it in that folder, whatever project it is, and they label it accordingly. And so basically, Grace knows that if it's put in the folder, it's a final project that they want her to see their work, and it's been asked to be turned in rather than just like free time work. And she just goes through those and, checks them out, sees what kids have been working on. And if there is a project, she said that, like, she's found a project that, like, just wasn't, they didn't really get what the software was asking them to do. And she's asked them to, like, redo it or go back and check it out. So it's basically, like, if they finish the project and they get the idea, it's a check, like, on her little list. And if they finish a project but they still don't really understand what the software or the program's wanting them to do, it's like an X, and she'll go back and talk to them like later on in the week. So yeah, that's how she does the formative and summative assessments in this classroom. Next, and the last one says, do you feel that the assessment the teacher uses are accurate and adequate measures of what students know, why or why not? So I definitely think that, like, doing it by seeing what the students have produced in a project is a really great way to see if the students are learning, because that's like where you really see their work and see if, like, well, they learned how to use this tool because you can see it in the project, but they didn't learn how to use this tool because there's nowhere that they've like used it in their project, I guess. So I think that that is a really good idea because it's a little more laid back, which is what the club is. So it's not like a pen and paper like exam where it's like, how do you make the character move, and then the student has to write it out or something, because that's just a lot more stressful. Whereas the flow of this classroom is more of like exploring and figuring out things and asking questions. And so this shows that, like, the students have really explored the programs really well if they can create a good project from it. So yeah, I definitely think this is a great way to run this kind of this kind of classroom, I guess. But yeah, so it's kind of hard to talk about assessment for the Boys and Girls Club, but they definitely do make progress, and they keep track of that progress to what the students have learned, and if everybody's on the same page with different games and programs and everything like that. So yeah, this was a great week. I'm really excited for the next 3 more weeks of this, so it's exciting.